Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out Reason by Dreamcatcher. Now, this is new right today. It came out to celebrate apparently the anniversary of the group. This is my first time as like a fan of the group getting to be around during their anniversary, and I don't really have anything specific planned, so whenever this video comes out, know that I was doing stuff to celebrate their anniversary. Really excited to get into something that is specifically released for their anniversary, because I feel like these songs are always like super special because they're just for the fans. It's not about like reaching new people or thinking about what the promotion and like the live performances are going to be, or like charting or doing something that's going to be like really big for the promotion of the group. It's really just for people who already care about them, and I feel like that has a really special place because it's about it opens up opportunity to be like sincere and be more emotive and vulnerable, because it's not about trying to reach as many people as possible. There's probably going to be maybe some references in this that I don't understand because I haven't been around long enough to know all of the little details about their journey of becoming a group and, you know, getting to know their fans and stuff like that. I know a little bit about it, especially about like re-debuting and things like that. I did see in like the thumbnail, it looks like it might be animated, which I mean always gets me in my heart because there's just something about animation that does something to me. So that will be very exciting as well. Yeah, just super excited to get to listen to one of these like, you know, special songs that they have released. I am going to be checking out a lyric video first to listen to the song and get some of the lyrics, because there isn't any closed captioning on the video that was released as of right now, with the caveat that I know that lyric videos are not the most accurate in general, but like especially when they're for like released songs. When you release a lyric video almost immediately after a song comes out, I get that it's not going to be the best, but at least I'll be able to listen to the song without like visuals distracting me, and I will get some idea of what the lyrics are about. And then we'll get into the music video and get to actually like focus on the visuals and not get like super distracted by like vocals and production and stuff, because I will get distracted. We'll start with the lyric video and just, you know, get ready for whatever the song is going to be. I feel like it might be sentimental, it might be a little bit whimsical, I really don't know. They always seem to surprise me a little bit, so let's get into listening to the song.
I have to go on. Reason.
Ooh. This is more rock than I expected. Sorry, just I like the little guitar line in it. There's lots more kind of rock involved in this than I would have thought there would be, because I was expecting something a little bit more on the kind of like synth kind of sound that we've seen before, some of the nostalgic feeling, kind of like fairy tale that I heard in their most recent album, something that felt a little bit more nostalgic, whereas like this one has more of that rock feel to it, which makes it seem more like a victory, you know? It has that kind of feeling of, you know, having made it to this point and like a celebration to that, which I guess also fits with like an anniversary. They've made it this long and they've established themselves in ways I'm sure it seemed like maybe they wouldn't at certain times. So having that feeling of like celebration does fit with it. Also really drum heavy, love that. You cannot do a fret slide into dummy rapping and not give me some kind of heads up. I need a warning before you do that to me. Go again. Okay, Suwa rapping too. Okay, before we get into like probably the chorus, I love the like layered vocal where it was like pitched down and really distorted, and it was right under the like main vocal line in it. I really like that effect. It has a certain impact to it, a certain like command of attention. It's a cool effect, and I feel like it really shook up the like feeling of the song from the more like lighter vocals that we had leading up to that point, and then going into what I'm assuming is the chorus. So kind of like getting that, reestablishing that tension, and then like I think also it's a really cool kind of metaphor for like that layer of like the like darkness and stuff. So there's like that darker distorted sound to the voice, and having kind of that duality of it where there's kind of the light and the dark to the sound as well, because they are talking about like they've been through stuff, right? Like it's not like they've gotten to this point and it hasn't been a battle, right? And even like the line of like there's a lot that I'm saying wrong, like I might not voice what I'm feeling in the right way. So I feel like having the voice be distorted kind of fits with the feeling of the song of like there's darkness to like every situation. There's like a distortion in having to voice an experience, right? Telling an experience is very different than going through it. Telling an emotion is very different from feeling it. By trying to communicate a feeling, you are already distorting it from the truth. It's never going to actually be all of the truth of what you're actually feeling, because you have to simplify and speak in like metaphors in order to get someone to understand. And just because the metaphor explains it perfectly from your perspective, the person might interpret it differently, and there's always that feeling of distortion in language. So I'm probably digging too deep into this, but that's what I do. I like getting some solo rapping as well. Ooh. Okay, there's a lot to throw at me right there. Love the, I don't know, the kind of uplifting feeling of that. There's some really nice strings in the background. Love the little descending vocal slide that she did. And then, of course, going back up on that repeat of kind of bringing up the energy and heightening up that note. I mean, she and vocals is always a good time, so. Especially the darker sound to get to that really uplifting sound. I love a vocal slide. Wow. That's really up at her range too, to be like mixed. Oof. Okay, love that we've super drum heavy. It has this feeling of like momentum forward. And I also really like that that's kind of the lyrics of it too, is like this feeling of like hopefulness and like spreading your wings and stuff, and like going far away and things like that, where it feels like, you know, it's like even if the clouds are in the way, like we're going to find a way out of this. So having that feeling of momentum with the drums really leading the production feels very much like propelling forward, and having that forward momentum of like, even though they've made it to this point, they can still see so much further in the future, right? Like, yeah, we struggled and we got here, but there's so much more potential. And really love the vocal melodies of, I don't know, it's almost like, and I'm not going to be able to describe this well because I don't have any music theory training. I guess it's like the contrast of like going from like kind of a middle part of their vocal range into that upper part. I really liked how Yehyun was really getting into a mixed play, so she was keeping that power of like from her diaphragm and stuff. She wasn't like flipping into a full head voice. She was just kind of pulling her chest voice up, which I feel like is a really hard thing to try and explain, but if you're a singer, you've kind of felt what it feels like to pull your chest voice up, because there's a certain place that you kind of sing from in terms of placing your sound. We call it a chest voice because it kind of feels placed in about where your chest is when you're singing. And then pulling your chest voice up is your kind of a mix of your head voice and your chest voice, but you're really relying more on your chest range than you are with your head voice. So it has like kind of a weight to the vocal, but you're getting into a bit of a higher place, but you're kind of cheating the placement a little bit. I don't know if I explained that super well. But if you're a singer, you kind of know that feeling of when you need to pull your chest voice up. It can almost feel shouty sometimes. Like it's very difficult to kind of balance it out so it doesn't sound like you're shouting. But I feel like it works well with this song because it's supposed to be kind of a battle cry. There's supposed to be a bit of a power behind the vocal. So I feel like it fits with this particular song of using that technique. I feel like at other times it doesn't quite fit in, and it's just someone kind of reaching for a note when they're trying to be powerful and they're not quite placing their sound correctly. But in this case, I think Yuhyun did a great job of like, again, pulling that momentum of like this kind of almost like battle cry into the way that she was singing. Sorry, vocal slides get me. See vision reaction. See right there is more of a pulling up her chest. And it kind of softens out for that last part. Nice. The vocalization. Again, the kind of collective battle cry. Great guitar work. And we're just pulling out the production. Okay. Love the guitar work in this and the drums. I love that there's like specific rock sounds of like, I feel like electric guitar and drums are kind of like a staple in rock music. They're really used heavily. I love that they're kind of leaning into that rock element, because I feel like I said before, I was expecting something that was kind of like fairy tale from like their most recent album, or something that felt a little bit more nostalgic. And I kind of like that they're just going with the rock sound, because that's kind of who they are. That's the sound that they established themselves with. And I feel like it's also the sound that is probably the hardest for them to get attention for, especially in like South Korea. I feel like a lot of the South Korean music industry is not as rock heavy as like a Western one where I come from, where there's lots of rock music everywhere and lots of different genres take influence from rock music. So I love that something that might be seen as a bit of a weakness for them is something that they're just leaning in really heavily for, because like I said in my intro, they're not doing this to reach a bunch of people. They're doing this for the people that already love them, and the people that already love them like the rock sound. So I love that they're just really going for it with this, with the instrumentation. I loved how we pulled all of the production back before coming back into the vocals though. What was it, Handang coming into? Cool synth sounds coming through. Okay, so just before we get back into it, I love how I talked about like sprinting, the key to sprinting to high places. Like I was saying, the song feels like this forward momentum to it. It feels like they're pushing forward, and it almost feels like when you have like these kind of heavy sounds with like the guitar, the heavy electric guitar and the drums, I feel like drums just kind of have like a certain weight to them and kind of weighing down certain parts of the vocals in terms of pulling up your chest voice and having that distorted vocal layered underneath the main vocal line. There's this feeling of weight behind the momentum, so it feels almost like like a train, or like this huge weighted, like fast moving object, right? Like it feels like you need to like get out of the way. Like if you're not coming with us, just move out of the way. That's what the song kind of makes me feel. Interesting cadence with this part too. Good note. You see Suho pulling up her chest voice too. Ooh, she hit. I like how also Suho hit the recent part with more oomph to it that we saw with Yuhyun earlier on. Yuhyun kind of softened it a little bit as it led into the like layered vocalizations, whereas like Suho kind of pushed a little bit more into that, and I feel like it really helps keep the song moving, right? Like you have to kind of build up the energy. When you start a song that has like the kind of energy that this one already has, you have to add in little points like that that just kind of add little bits of interest, switching it up from before, but also continue to push the song forward. Got a little vibrato on her notes too, which is nice. Ooh, I like that, which is the one drum, kick drum maybe? I don't know drumming. Aww. Okay, I love how we went from like Siyeon and Yuhyun, who, you know, have quite a bit of power with their voices, lots of really nice closure, and we're able to really give some energy into that part of the song. And then you have someone who has like a more soft sound with Hanong coming in. Just really good arrangement choices. I also like the shout out for Insomnia. I love the ad-libs happening in the back. There's something like very, I don't know, there's a hype to this song. Was that actually Gahyun? Alright, I got distracted at the end. I wasn't expecting that. Ooh. Oh, I like the ending of that too with the lyrics. Yeah, I like how it's like when you go up as much as you promised, there must be a sense of responsibility. I like that one of, yeah, they've come this far, they've accomplished so much, they've broken through all of these barriers, and that's very much what this song has of like them talking about like even if there's clouds, we're gonna burst through that and get beyond it. I like there's a sense of responsibility. It's like them acknowledging through this of like we have fans, we have people who care about us, we have people who support us and look up to us, so there's a sense of responsibility. And like, yeah, getting to, I think it's their 6th anniversary is like a huge accomplishment. It's great and you want to celebrate and feel invigorated by having made it that far, but there's also, you know, it's also a time to like reflect of what have we done over the last year and what are we proud of? What do we think we should change? What do we need to do better? And what are people expecting of us? Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of reflection happening around this time of year too of them, you know, being happy they made it this far, but also like understanding the responsibility of like with each year that they continue to be a group, they grow more and more of a following. They have more and more people who look up to them. So I'm sure that there's a lot of pressure behind that as well. But it's just like a far more hyped, upbeat kind of, I don't know. There's something to the song that just makes me like, I feel like I'm not at the right energy level. I feel like I'm not meeting them at the same energy that they're at of just like, yeah, let's go. But excited to see what the MV is gonna be. So let's check that out. Okay, let's see what they have for us. I'm not gonna know what they're saying. I don't know enough Korean.
Reason.
I love the like old video kind of feeling. Oh, it's just a bunch of like moments throughout the years, possibly the past year, with the vision at the end. Why am I so like incredibly proud of them? They've only been around for a little while. Pretty. I feel like there's probably a lot of references in here that I don't know. Oh my gosh, what was this? I was told before that Suha had the It costume at one time. I feel like there's so many references in here that I'm just like not gonna know, and I'm like upset. Someday I will come back and I will know what all the references are. I like the mixture though of like footage throughout the year, I'm assuming, of like live performances, practicing, doing like fan meets and stuff, and then mixed in with like kind of the animation to tell some of the story, probably of like the things that we don't see on camera, right? Like the things that they don't share, because I mean there's like a certain persona to like being a performer, but I think that also part of it is not wanting people to worry about you, right? When you have so many people looking up to you and using you as like a form of strength or motivation or something like that, you don't want to show certain parts of yourself where you seem weak or struggle or lost. So I feel like I like kind of the animation to incorporate some of those moments of probably the struggle that happened that they don't have any footage for because it wasn't something that was happening in front of the camera for everyone to see. I heard that they were in North America, like, right as I got into the group, and I'm so mad that I missed it. Ooh, hey! Look at them getting a YouTube plaque. And making each other laugh. You can do it! It's a lot of stairs, but I believe in you. No! No! I don't want to see them cry. See, it's kind of like I was talking about of like the things. I mean, obviously there is some of that kind of struggle there, but it's like the exhaustion, the being overwhelmed, and that can be like I feel like tears can be sadness, but it can also just be overwhelm in lots of different ways. It can be overwhelm of like being exhausted, having so much happening, being stressed, being busy, being disappointed in yourself. It can be so many different things that kind of burst through with crying. I feel like crying is just like you have too many emotions to keep in, and like it has to come out. It's the same way that like if you're so happy you cry, right? Like it's the same similar thing, just can also be like a lot of more negative things to go through. So there is kind of all of those other things that happen too, and seeing like the struggle of like the animation trying to get up the stairs, and it's like a spiral staircase too, so it's like it feels like you're not getting anywhere because you're kind of walking in circles and you don't really realize that you've gotten any place until you're like at the top, right? It's before that it's just like the struggle of getting up. I don't want to see them cry. I'm definitely someone who cries seeing other people cry. No. Is that supposed to be insomnia, like helping them up? Oh. I paused by accident. Why did she look so intense in that one picture? This one. Like they're all like kind of serious, and then for whatever reason she was just like very intense in this photo. I love the montage of like all the moments with fans working on solos. I recognize some of this now. They win an award? Oh! For some reason, seeing Gahyun cry is like a different kind of emotion for me. Maybe it's because she's the youngest and she's younger than me. I think she's the only one that's younger than me that I'm just like, no, oh my gosh, I'm tearing up. I'm like gonna get to probably these videos at some point. I'm gonna have like the same reaction. It's like the shock. Again, seeing like Sua as well. I like that it's just like a collection of like their year, right? Of like the good, the bad. I feel a lot of things. I was not prepared to cry during that. I was like, this is probably going to be super emotional for people who have been a fan for a really long time, for the people who have been with them over the last year or the last 6 years, or even before they were Dreamcatcher and had to re-debut and all of that. I'm like, this is probably going to be super emotional for you. Not me. I haven't been around that long. I'll be fine. And then seeing them cry and be so overwhelmed by like an award, is that like a first award, or like, you know, have they not won? I don't know all the context of it, and I definitely do not recognize awards on site. I do not pay that much attention. Like, I would not know which award I'm looking at if you just showed me a trophy. So I'm assuming that is significant in some way. I'm sure that people will fill me in on exactly the context of that because I have not been around long enough to know. But how happy and overwhelmed they were in that moment of just, like I said, you know, like tears because of overwhelm. Like, I'm sure that they were so incredibly happy of what was going on and like being together and celebrating that moment. But I feel like incredibly proud even though I wasn't there for most of it, and I feel like this is a nice little preview of some of the things I have to look forward to, of going back through all of their stuff from their discography to, you know, seeing live performances and behind the scenes stuff. I really like how it's very uplifting and hopeful, but it also has this note of like, we did this together and there have been struggles, and acknowledging that and like knowing that there's a responsibility to getting to this point. I like that they take it seriously, you know. I feel like sometimes it can feel like someone who has a passionate fandom doesn't really like respect them or feel the responsibility of having a bunch of people who look up to you, and they kind of disregard the fact that they have people who are looking up to them. And I like seeing, obviously I didn't think of that of Dreamcatcher, but I like them being very like straightforward about how they take this as see it as a responsibility to, you know, be the right kind of people for the people who are fans of them, for Insomnia, for the people who have lifted them up to this point. So I feel like that probably is a lot. Like, I cried. I can't even imagine what it was like for people who have been Insomnia for a while and have actually been through a bunch of this journey and know a bunch of the references and what a bunch of the clips are from. I'm sure it was very emotional for you guys as well, but I hope that you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this place to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so that next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!